If You Need Me, You Deserve Me, by Mrs. Akhila Anupuri. I was born in 1990 into a family that worshipped Sri Satya Sai Baba. So, I saw his pictures at home and accepted him as God, just as I accepted the other deities on the altar. It was in the late 90s that I got the chance to visit Puttaparthi and Whitefield, Bangalore, and realized that Swami was a unique God walking, talking, and giving darshan to his devotees. When I had my first close darshan of Swami in Whitefield, my eyes locked with his eyes and welled up with tears. Though it was just a split second, I felt time had come to a standstill, and I could feel Swami's love permeating me. After that first darshan, apart from occasional visits to Swami's ashrams, Prashanti Nilayam, in Puttaparthi, Brindavan, in Bangalore, and Shivam, in Hyderabad, my family's connection with Swami was limited. At home, there were many books on Swami on the shelf, where I found a fascinating children's book on his life. I also remember using pens with Swami's image on them. But that was about it. As the years passed and I moved from my teens to my 20s, I drifted farther away from Swami. I made a few bad choices and kept bad company. As life threw one curveball after another, I even became an atheist, considering divinity and God all a big sham that I had foolishly bought into in the past. Looking back, I feel remorseful and ashamed. Drifting into deeper waters, my next visit to Puttaparthi was in 2011, when I was on my way to Bangalore to enroll in a business school. At the time, Swami's Mahasamadhi structure was still under construction. I remember feeling nothing whatsoever in my heart. I felt disconnected from God in general and Swami, especially. I did not know that the next 10 years of my life would be completely disconnected from Swami. The disconnect was to last another 10 years, that was my karma. Reflecting on those 10 years, now I can say how lifeless they were, how purposeless and painful they were, and how sightless they were. The next decade of my life was turbulent, and nothing seemed to be going my way. Being sightless, I also felt purposeless and lifeless. I wasn't happy professionally and was frustrated at not finding a life partner. My parents, too, were exhausted by their search, as nothing seemed to come to fruition. I genuinely felt that I was cursed or written off by the universe or God if such a being existed. Swimming, companion. Then COVID-19 happened. Lockdowns and remote work became the norm, making room hunting all the more difficult. One night, my father came across the profile of a man he felt was perfect for me. He asked me to get in touch with the man from Sydney and talk with him. I flatly refused at first because, thanks to the pandemic, I was finding it challenging even to speak to or meet people within India. I spoke to Abhi just to get my father off my back. But as we got to know each other, a 10-month-long remote courtship ensued. We discussed everything under the sun, but the topics of religion and spirituality came up only once. We both shared that we were loosely religious as we had a respectful tolerance toward rituals for the sake of our parents. This long-distance communication ultimately culminated in our decision to get married. A couple of weeks before the wedding, Abhi was to fly to India amid the lockdown and travel restrictions. My family got busy with all the wedding preparations in India. The prodigal daughter welcomed just as the wedding cards were printed. My mother received a phone call from her sister who lived in Mysore, Karnataka. My aunt said that when she was reading the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra in Mysore, she suddenly heard a voice say in Telugu, "Card pettali, card na degara pettali, place the card near me." What card? She wondered as she kept hearing the same message over and over again. Clueless, she looked at the book she was holding and an image of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba formed on the Shirdi Satcharitra she was holding in her hand. Since we were the only Satya Sai devotees in the family that she knew, she felt that she had to convey to her sister that the first wedding card was to be offered to Swami. When she relayed this incident to my parents, they were elated. I was in a state of shock because I had not connected with Swami for more than a decade. But I also felt a strange sense of elation and anticipation in my heart. After picking up the wedding cards, we headed straight to the Shivam Mandir in Hyderabad to place the first card at the altar. I wrote to Swami and asked my father whether it was right. My father struck off the two and wrote, "Placed at the divine lotus feet of Swami," in its place. The bhajans were in progress when we arrived. It was my first bhajan session in 10 years. It was such a cathartic and joyous experience. The COVID-19 mask I wore was drenched with both tears of joy and remorse. My mother, too, had a beautiful darshan experience during the bhajans. She saw a beautiful picture of Swami in a yellow robe, smiling at her with Abhyahasta, blessing hand. She assumed that the picture was placed near her like the many other pictures of Swami in Shivam. However, after a moment of distraction, when she looked up again, that picture was no longer there. After the bhajans, as we wondered where to place the wedding card, a Sevadal volunteer told us to go past the barricade and place it at the main altar. Not surprisingly, the central picture was a full-size standing picture of Swami, and I ended up placing the card literally at his lotus feet. In an instant, I felt connected to him, and the seed of love that he had planted years ago sprouted into a strong sapling of devotion. Faster than the speed of thought. Though I had rediscovered my God, I wondered how I would explain all this to my partner. He wasn't even aware of Sri Satya Sai Baba, and I wanted him connected with Swami as well. I went ahead and mentioned Swami and his Leelas to my husband and his family. They didn't have much of a reaction and behaved just like someone unfamiliar with Swami would. I was grateful that at least they did not react negatively, and desperately hoped that Swami would do something to draw him into his fold. After the wedding, we visited my husband's maternal grandmother in Tuni, Andhra Pradesh, to seek her blessings. On the first day, after a bath, I decided to say a prayer and perform worship at her altar. The altar had many deities, but my heart had been pledged to Swami. Focusing on the picture of Shirdi Sai Baba, I thought, "Swami, you are not here. So, I will look at Shirdi Baba and pray to you as you both are the same anyway." It was just a casual thought. But no sooner did I have the thought, I looked up and there he was. My very own, my best friend, my Swami. It was indeed a large picture of Swami sitting in a chair. The picture was faded and had gathered considerable dust from neglect. It felt so symbolic to me, and I immediately dusted off the picture and cleaned it. I could not believe my eyes and was convinced that I was hallucinating. I called out to Abhi loudly and he came running. Unable to gather any words, I simply pointed at the picture. He seemed as shocked as I was. We later learned that the picture had been on the wall since the 1950s. Someone had given it to Abhi's grandfather, and he had just placed it there. I was both thrilled and amused by this experience, and my connection with Swami only grew stronger. Swami does a non-core deep down. I wondered whether this discovery could be sufficient to pique Abhi's interest in Swami. In hindsight, I realized the utter foolishness of my thoughts and fears back then. If Swami can connect me to him in a moment, can't he do the same for someone else? When I moved to Australia, the first thing I discovered was a very active Sai center just minutes away from our home. At first, Abhi would drop me off at the center and drive away. Within months, Abhi started coming to the center on festival days. He fell in love with the Sai philosophy and teachings. Then, in 2023, Abhi had 3 dreams of Swami in 3 successive months. They turned out to be very meaningful and special for him personally, and that was a turning point for his relationship with Swami. We have since been on this journey to Sai together, trying to understand and practice Swami's teachings. We have Swami in our hearts and have conversations with him every single day. We truly believe that Swami brought us together to walk with him and toward him. Mrs. Akhila Anupuri.